We have to invest in our people. We have to make sure that it's not something we say, but it's something we do. We often fail to think before we act.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Salem Speakers Podcast. This is a show where we get to sit down with some of the voices who are shaping the future of leadership. Today's guest is one of those essential voices. Speaking with Michael Butera, a four-time CEO, a keynote speaker, and a certified Maxwell Leadership team mentor and coach. With a career forged in service as a Chief Warrant Officer in the U.S. Army and on the ground as a community and labor organizer, Michael brings a rare perspective that spans from the grassroots to the international boardroom. His signature message challenges leaders with a simple but powerful choice: innovate or stagnate. He's dedicated his work to helping organizations sharpen their strategic thinking, build resilient systems, and prepare their teams for the future. Michael, thank you so much for joining us today.
Kris, it's a pleasure to be with you. I'm looking forward to it.
Now, Michael, your core message, innovate or stagnate, is incredibly direct and urgent. What do you see are the biggest mistakes you see in leaders making today that puts their organizations at risk of stagnating?
We're at a particular time where speed of change is so intense that we often fail to think before we act. It's kind of like the old joke, where you say, make sure your brain's working before your mouth is in gear. And that is exactly what happens here on the innovation front. We hear some fancy new thing and we say, hey, let's go get that. When the truth of the matter is, what we really need to do is think strategically about what is best for our organizations, what is best for the people that are working for us. And if we do that, we put innovation in a bright light, a light where all of us can improve together rather than just have a shiny new tool.
You have a signature talk on the 7 strategic capacities to organizational success. Without giving away the whole keynote, which one of those 7 capacities do you find leaders most consistently overlook?
From my perspective, the one issue that so dramatically changes leadership is talent development. Often talent development is not looked at from before you hire to after you hire to what you do with the employees that you have. Not only employees, but in associations where I do a lot of work, associations have lots of volunteers, people who come to the organization not expecting to be paid for their service. We have to take time to develop that talent. And you can't just put them on a program where they can go somewhere to look at a particular innovation that's coming from AI. You have to spend time with people. So it's the mentoring, it's the coaching, it's the understanding that from the time you write job description till the hire and all the time they're with you, that you're developing their talent. Some of them might leave, but that's okay because there's lots of talent out there. The question is, are we developing it and using it in the mission of the organization?
You've had a really fascinating career path from a community and labor organizer to a four-time CEO. How did that early experience on the ground as an organizer shape the way that you led from the C-suite later on in your career?
The first thing you learn about organizing is you take people from where they are to where you hope they will be. And that's true in being a CEO. It's important, we say things like, people are our most important asset. Are they? Do we treat them like they are? So what I've learned is that you have to spend time with all the people in your organization. And I'll give you a quick example. I went to an organization that had about 65 employees, and I decided that I was going to interview all of them as the new CEO. The first person I interviewed was the nighttime custodian. It sent ripples through the organization. Why would he be talking to the nighttime custodian? Because interestingly enough, you'd be surprised how much they know about what's going on in the organization. So that's an example of what I mean when I say we have to invest in our people. We have to make sure that it's not something we say, but it's something we do.
And speaking of that experience, you've led organizations at the statewide, national, and international levels. What's a surprising leadership lesson you learned in your fourth CEO role that you wish you could go back and teach yourself in the first?
I think the most important thing you learn in all of these roles, but particularly important, is listening. All of us want to talk and tell. The most important thing we do is really listen, to understand what the culture of the organization is, to understand its people, to understand its mission, to understand its finances. If you're not listening, you shouldn't be talking. So the first thing you always have to do is listen. And, I'm obviously a speaker, so hey, I like to talk. But the truth of the matter is, the number one lesson is learn to listen and learn to hear exactly what it is that all those people around you are telling you, or in some cases may be afraid to tell you that you should help them get out on top of the table.
And a key focus of your work is helping organizations adapt a 20th century traditions to a 21st century reality. For a leader who knows their organization is maybe stuck in old ways of thinking, what's a small practical step that they can take to start building a more future ready team?
Future ready teams really mean that what we want to do is ensure that the individuals are given the freedom to actually experiment with the project at hand, being careful not to tell people how to do something, but giving them the opportunity to explore the various ways that they might be able to do something. Let them experiment. Let them talk to other people in the organization. Get rid of the silo. So, from my perspective, one thing we want to really make sure we do is we want to give the people a chance to demonstrate how really good they are at performing and doing the work that's essential to the organization.
Your bio mentions you practice includes foresight. That's a powerful word. How do you define foresight for a leader, and how is it different from just having a 5-year strategic plan?
Well, let's start at the end of that question and work back.
Mhm.
The whole idea of strategic planning has become so traditional that many of the plans really aren't strategic at all. They're just a list of goals and tasks to be performed over specified periods of time. What we really want to do is have people think about the scenarios, the possibilities, the many futures that the organization might actually see. So we have to start, before we talk about foresight in general, about this idea that what we really want to do is see the multiple future options that are before us. And therein lies the work of foresight. Foresight is really about understanding the drivers, the societal, the economic, the technological, the social drivers that are present and that we need to understand. And so, what is foresight? That's what foresight is. It is understanding, seeing, experimenting with all the potential elements that make up the progress that we're going to have here in the 21st century. Truth of the matter is, for example, artificial intelligence has been around a long, long time. Many people don't know they were using it. Word processors were, an artificial intelligence thing. In addition to that, what we want to do is understand that these new technological tools must be human centric. They must be about us, the people. We can't just let them go off and decide for us. We have to ensure that they're a part of us that we control. And so foresight really is understanding the potential drivers, force factors, the environment in which all organizations will work in this new, rapidly changing environment, the 21st century.
In addition to all your speaking and coaching, you also host the Association Futures podcast. What's a common theme or maybe big idea that you've been exploring on your own podcast recently?
I love that question, and let me tell you why. What I am most interested in is what organizations will do going forward versus what they are doing right now. And so when you ask what we're really focusing on, what we're focusing on are the ideas that come from listening to what's going on outside organizations, not so much inside the organizations. We have to understand this new environment in which we're in. And so that's what we're exploring, the environment that's out there, whether it's local, regional, nationwide, or worldwide. And worldwide events now impact, very, very small local organizations like they never did before. And so that's where we're focusing our attention. Our attention is on learning what the external environment is really doing to the way we act, interact, and improve the mission and the organizational resilience that we need to take another step forward.
You're also a certified Maxwell Leadership mentor coach. What's the difference between being a coach and being a mentor coach? And why is the distinction important?
A mentor is someone that assists you in learning technical pieces that go along with the way you interact with others. Coaches often provide very specific ideas or functions that you should perform. What we want to do is balance those two out. We want to make sure that what we're helping people learn to do is essentially act in the best interest of those they interact with and do it in an ethical and empathetic way. And so what we want to emphasize in mentoring is those points, emphasize the ethical responsibilities that people have and the learning that they have. In coaching, we want to give them examples and help them experiment with what it is that will come next in their development as a leader.
Michael, when you step on stage to deliver a keynote, you're speaking to a room full of leaders facing immense pressure a lot of the times. What is the primary feeling or mindset you want to leave your audience with after they've heard you speak?
The best way I can articulate this for you is to say this, that they will leave the room energized with understanding that they are part of a large community of people that are facing immense challenges, but that all those challenges are really opportunities. There are never really any challenges. There are always opportunities. I want them to leave thinking that they have an opportunity to improve themselves, their organization, their family, their understanding of the environment in which they're operating every day. So it's that I hope they leave the room with, feel good about. And I do something else. I ask them if they'll let me have their email address. I'll actually contact them within 60 to 90 days and see what they've done as a result of the speech. Sometimes it's a few people, sometimes it's a lot of people, but it's a pledge I make every time. And what I've learned from that is that people who believe you will come back to them to see if they actually used any of the material that you provided. They then act in a different way. They say, boy, this is someone that cared for me, so I should care for other people and do better in my job. So that's what I hope they leave with.
Finally, Michael, if you could distill all of your experience into one piece of advice for a leader who maybe feels overwhelmed by the pace of change right now, what would that single most important thing for them to focus on?
Read, listen, travel, understand. Read, listen, travel, understand. If they do those four things on a consistent basis, they will be a better leader. And that's what we all want to do. We want to make sure that each of us does a better job at leading. Finally, just one small little point. It's not only about leadership, it's about stewardship. We want to make sure that when we exit, that the organizations and the people we have engaged with are better off than when we first showed up. That's what's really important.
Wow, that's amazing. Michael, this has been very insightful conversation. You have a deep experience that's remarkable, and thank you for sharing your wisdom with us here today.
Well, Kris, thank you very much for the invite to join you. I'm looking forward to the final product and good wishes to you and your work and to all those who are listening with us. Take another step, look forward, don't look back, learn, listen. You'll achieve a lot more for yourself and those you love, respect, and work with.
And for everyone listening, if you want to bring Michael in to challenge your leaders, sharpen their strategic thinking, and ensure your organization is ready for the future, you can find out more about him on his speaker page, which we will link below down in the show notes. So thanks for tuning in to the Salem Speakers Podcast, and we'll see you next time.